Hello and welcome to VIPER Strategies, where we put roulette strategies to the ultimate test. This is not a simulator app. We are using a custom-built software to back test strategies against real casino spin data. That means real outcomes, real risk analysis, and real-world results. This is more than just content. It's a passion project. After years of getting beat up from the casinos, we decided it was time to fight and strike back. So on this channel, we fine-tune strategies, run deep performance analysis, and stress test across multiple sessions against thousands of spins to see if they really have true profit potential. Because around here, we always test before we invest. Hey guys, welcome back to another VIPER Strategies testing video. So today we got this one's I'm pretty excited about because this one is a custom progression that I built with corners, and I did run it against the survival test on my previous channel. It is a custom progression, so every step or at any level that you're at, you're going to reset automatically with a new session profit. On the original video that I ran on the other channel, it did have it's called 41 Quad Custom. It had 41 levels of progression. In today's video, in today's test, we have implemented that, and we have since adjusted that down to 32 levels of progression. After that, the bankroll or the bet sizing, I should say, started getting a little too high. So we found that this is kind of a happy medium, having 32 levels, because we're calling this, right? You can look down here. It's called VIPER 401 corners. What the 401 comes from is that's going to be your total bankroll for 32 levels of progression. So it is a very long progression, and it still has a reasonable bankroll as well. So it doesn't, the bets don't balloon out of like get all crazy. So let's go ahead and show you what we're going to do today. So we're going to jump over here, and as you can see, VIPER 405 corners is what we're running. We're going to run multiple tests against this. We're going to give it 100 spins each. We're going to do different data sets, and we're going to compare and contrast all the stats at the end, and we're going to get averages and see how well it does. So let's go ahead and jump over here into our configurations, and I'm going to, oh, that's the wrong one. We're going to corners. So let me pull this up for you guys to see. Okay, something cool. So on the original channel, I did only do one corner bet. Now, since the professor implemented this into the software, we are able to add, you can see right here, if you can't see, it says range 1 to 4. We could add 1, 2, 3, or 4 consecutive running with their own progressions, okay? So I also want to show you the corner selection method. Okay, this one is very important. So we could go random, right? Or what I have it set right now, I changed it to virtual miss. What does that mean? All that means is how many times that corner misses before that progression starts, okay? So we have a range that we could, okay, so we have that selected. You go down here and it says virtual misses threshold. All that means is how many are we going to sit out until we jump into the progression, okay? So we have a range 1 through 20. Right. So what that means, like, so we have 32 levels of progression and $405 of bankroll. Right. So if we set this at 10, basically, once it jumps in after that 10, those 10 misses, then we have 32 more chances for that to hit to make a profit. So essentially, that's elongated the progression up to 42 levels. You'll need 42 consecutive losses to bust that system at that point. And I don't know exact odds about that, but you know, it's pretty unlikely to happen. Is it going to happen? Does it happen? I'm sure it will, but that's why we test. So we're going to run a few tests today. All other configurations we're going to keep the same. We're going to keep it very generic. You can see the custom progression down here. I'm going to also highlight that before we jump in the video. Down here, you can see all so any level it hits at, remember, profit, and the system automatically resets, okay? So let's go ahead and save our configurations. And let's also, so right now we're not going to activate. We got to, up here, we got to preload because we set the virtual misses to 10, right? We need to preload at least 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me go ahead and pick a data set. I forgot to load that, sorry. Okay, open, good, that one's good. Let me go ahead and, Oh, I already had one started, so I'm gonna have to go through this again. Sorry, guys. I thought I had it all set up for you guys. All right, let me brush through this. Generic $1,000 bankroll and dollar units. Skip. Okay, cool. We're set up. Now we're gonna. So this is currently disabled. The 405 corners. We're gonna go ahead and start. So we got 1, 2. We got to preload at least 10. That way it's able to make that first bet selection. Okay, so we got our 10 loaded up. So now what we're going to do is go down here. We're going to activate. I'm just going to double check. Okay, the configurations are good. They're the same, what we set it at. Now we're going to go ahead and run it. Okay, let me close this window so you can see the bet visualization. And let's go. Okay, so you can see the profits up here. We started with the $1,000 bankroll. We're on a early losing streak. And down here, you're gonna see the progression. So let's see what happens. Okay, finally got a hit. That took a while to get a hit, but we did get a session high, and then it just went ahead and reset. All right, digging into the bankroll again. We're gonna need a hit again. We're already at an $8 bet, $10 bet, $12 bet, getting super high already. Finally got a hit, new session profit, and it reset. All right, we're almost at spin 60. Bunch of zeros coming out, I noticed. All right, so there is a lot of teetering up and down with this, but we got another hit, new session profit, reset. And we are just about 80 spins at this point. And we're getting close to wrapping up this little test. And again, I'm going to run multiple tests today. All right, 96 is the new session high. We're at spin 95. We're almost ready to wrap up the video. Okay, 100 spins. So up here you can see we peaked out. This is including our bankroll. We started at $100. So we peaked out at $101 in 100 spins. Okay, so let's go into our strategy manager. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and collect this data. I'm going to log all this, but I do want to collect the wins and the losses. So I just want to highlight this real quick. So down here, you see the wins at 9. We only had 9 wins and we had 81 losses. And you guys are like, oh, well, that's only 90 spins. Yeah, that's 90 spins activated. Remember, we preloaded 10 of those spins. That way it gave the software some time to recognize where to put that bet placement, meaning whatever corner didn't hit within 10 spins, that's where we're putting the money, right? We're starting the bet on there just to get kind of a head start. So it looks like we got 9 wins, 81 losses. We did end. Let's stop right here. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump into the next. I'm gonna log everything right now, and then I'll jump into the next test for you guys just to cut out the fluff. Okay, so we got everything logged, everything written down for that test. This is going to be test number 2. We did load up a new data set. So like I said, we're going to see how this pans out between multiple different data sets, right? We're not going to run the same data set on this just so we could get a good idea of the pros and cons and give you a better evaluation of how this runs over different spins, okay? And of course, everything else is the same. I'll pull it up right here. So configurations, the same, right? Corner bets, we're only going to run 1 today. Virtual misses is still at 10. So everything else is the same. And of course, just like the first test, we're going to go ahead and load up 10, okay? So I'm going to start the back test. I'm going to pause it at 10, and then we'll go in and we'll activate the system. 9 and 10. Okay, so we got 10 loaded up. That way it gives the software the ability, okay, where do I want to put this? We're looking for the 10 misses. A corner that has 10 misses before we start, okay? So that's what it's going to do by itself. We don't got to sit there and figure it out. So we are going to now activate it, and let's go ahead and start this test. Oh, let me pull up the bet visualization for you so you guys could track the bets, okay? So just a little review on the first one. Our profit was $96. We did peak out at plus $101. And our session low was, we dipped minus 82. So we used $82 to basically get $96 of profit. So we didn't really stress that bankroll at all. And remember, the bankroll is set for 405 for this system. We are near spin 50, got a hit, new session high. Remember, it resets and it picks a new corner based off, and that new corner that it chooses, it needs to miss 10 before it places a bet. And if there's any circumstance where it can't place that bet, it'll stop and it'll continue to let the numbers come out without betting, if that makes sense. Okay, so we are at spin 78. We are almost done with this test, nearing the end. Our session high for this one so far is $88. Got a new high of 109. We're at spin 90. New high was 115. Remember, this one's also getting an equal 100 spin test, and we're near the end right now. Okay, we stop it right here. Okay, so this one peaked out a little higher at $115 in the positive. We ended with a profit of $96. And let's go ahead and check the strategy manager. And look, we got a little bit more wins. Okay, so like the previous session, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here, cut out the fluff, track all the data, and we'll be into the next test. Okay, we are back with test run number 3. So far, so good. Let's see how this one performs. Again, this is disabled right now because we got to load up we need to load up at least 10. So let me go ahead and pull up the configurations just to show you that they are all set at the same one, same 10 misses. Okay, same progression. Everything else is the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and start disabled. That way we preload those 10. Remember, it needs 10. It needs 10 to choose where it's going to place the bet. All right, we got 10. Now we go down here and we go ahead and activate this. And let's go ahead and minimize this screen, pull up the bet visualization, and let's start the test. This is test number 3. And just to recap, the profit loss on the first 2 were both exactly 96. Well, that's where it ended. Nobody typically ends on losing streaks. They'll end on like a win. What was interesting, it did have a higher ROI, and it did peak out a little bit higher. So it peaked out at 115 versus the previous test was 101. And it actually had a session low of 72. The first one was 82. And remember, they're all getting a fair shake at 100 spins. So we are at spin 55, and so far our high is 48, and we're on a long losing streak right now. Okay, we got a hit right there. New hit put us in a new session profit. It resets and chooses another corner. We're at spin number 70. Let's see how we finish up. This is spin number 80. Spin number 90. New session high of 95. We are almost done wrapping it up. All right, we stop right there at 100 spins. Let's go ahead and check strategy manager. All right, we got the most wins so far on a test run. So we got 14 wins. We got 76 losses. Okay, again, I'm going to pause right here and I'm going to go ahead and collect the data, and we will resume for test number 4. Okay, guys, we are in session number 4, and this is a new data set, and of course loaded up a new data set. So I'm going to give it 10 empty runs. These are going to be dry runs just to let the software decide where to put the bet, where to start the first bet. So let me load up 10. We're at 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay, so we're going to pause it right there. And then we're going to go down here, and to show you again, same parameters. 1 corner, 10 virtual misses. That's the threshold. We can change this anytime, but for this test, I want to keep apples to apples comparison. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. And we are going to activate And let me minimize this so you can see the bet visualization down here and unpause. Let's see how this one did. The last test ran the best so far, peaked out at $121, and it only used $10 into the bankroll. So that's always very nice when it doesn't dip too low and you get some of those early wins. So let's see how this pans out so far. The high is 11. Again, with this system, it is a very long progression. You do have lower coverage, but it's using the software's computing ability to find those missing corners to then jump in and place your bet. And again, we could go up to 20, and we could even adjust that configuration as well. I could talk to the professor. If some of you guys prefer to have that set even higher, we could do that as well. So this is a cold number selection system. So anything that misses more than 10, it's going to place a bet right there. And so far we peaked at $60. We're at spin 74. And let's see how this one runs. And remember, bankroll for this is $405. All right, we're on a super. I think this is the longest losing streak so far. $16 bets, very high. $23 bet. We're going to need a hit soon. And we got it. Just in the nick of time. We're going to stop right here. Okay, so this one did have the longest run without hitting for sure. So we still ended up with a profit at $92. It did peak to $96. You can see those bets dip pretty low. But let's check our strategy manager and see what the wins are. Definitely had the lowest amount of wins. Down here, you can see we only had 7 wins on that one. And we had 83 losses. So let me go ahead, like the previous, I'm going to go ahead and log this information. So we had the 7 against 83 losses. But we still ended in profit. Let's go ahead and stop this session. I'm going to get back to you for session number 5. Okay, session number 5, we're going to pull up the configuration, show you everything is the same, just like the previous. 1 corner, 10 misses. Close that. And we are going to preload the first 10. That way it gives us a starting point where to place that corner bet. All right, 7 and 10's in. Okay, so let's go down here. Let's go ahead and activate this, unpause it, and let's see how this session goes. Bet visualization open. So the last one, we did hit the lowest of minus 176 into our bankroll. And we also had the lowest win to loss ratio, which was at 7 wins against 83 losses. So that's something to take note of. But we did still end in profit. So it's one of those longer progression. Wait for your wins. It does require some patience. It does require some, confidence and in the sense that you got to trust the odds of it going to hit. And I do understand that sometimes it's not going to hit, right? Sometimes that corner could go on super long sleepers. I know that street bets I've seen through the trigger feature that some of those street bets have gone as far as the highest I've seen was like about 102, 112, somewhere around there. So that is the risk. But what we're trying to figure out and analyze today is how often does that happen? Some people, it happens one time and they throw it away. But if that thing makes you money 10, 20 times out of, let's say it's like 90% of the time it does make you profit. Why are you going to throw it away? Because it messed up one time. There's no, that's following a false god. There's no perfect system. Every system is bound to fail and bound to fail at some point. Okay, so we're going to stop the session here. This is pretty crazy. So what I did here is so this is called 405 because we have a bankroll of 405. So on this one, you could see that the high looks different, right? Because on the other ones, I was putting $1,000 and I'm like, well, technically our bankroll is 405. So I should have just started the session with 405. So I did that with this one. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go down here and I'm going to show you the strategy manager to see where we are at. So we got 11 wins on this. This is session number 5. So we got 11 wins versus 79 losses. And let me go ahead and stop this session. Okay. And then I'll give you the details on this. So we're going to I was originally only going to run 5, but I'm like, I want to see. I don't really want to go to 10 sessions. This video is getting quite long. It won't be as long for you guys because I'm cutting up the videos and just showing you the meat and taters of the whole thing. But I'm trying to see if we get something that fails. Okay, so we have 5 consecutive wins. I'm gonna try to put another data set. I might just stop at 7. We'll see how it goes. I'm just trying to see if there's a data set where this fails because I know it's inevitable that it's going to fail. So let me go ahead and stop right here, log this information. I'll be back for session 6. Okay, we are in session number 6. So again, just showing you configs are the same, 1 and 10. I'm going to save that. Now we're going to go ahead and preload some numbers. So let's preload 10 numbers to figure out what bet selection it's going to make for us. All right, 10 preloaded. We're going to go ahead and activate the strategy, minimize that, unpause. Let's see how this one is. This one's session number 6. The last one did it did end up with the lowest as far as the end balance, and the high didn't peak out too high. Well, actually it did peak out pretty high. It was peaked out pretty high. It was I'll call it average. But let's go ahead and see how this one runs so far. This is in the minus. We got a hit right there. Forgot to add something. Okay, let's see. We are at spin 55. And remember, I did adjust this. I probably shouldn't have because when I'm logging the data on this one, it's it looks different, but the results are all going to, the averages and the percentages are going to be the same. It's just going to look a little different because I adjusted that bankroll to 405, which it should be. All right, so profits at 56 right now. We're at spin 83. All right, spin 92. We're almost ready to wrap this up. All right, ended on a win, ended at a high, right at the 100 spin mark. Let's check strategy manager. This was session number 6. Let's see what we got. See, we only got 8 wins. That win at the end really helped us get back up. So 8 wins versus 82 losses. And again, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to run another one and see what happens. Okay, we are in session number 7. So let's pull up the configs, same configs. Let's go ahead and preload our data. I'm going to stop at 10. All right, there's 10 in. Let's go and activate the strategy and unpause. Let's see how this one goes. This is going to be what we've done 2, 4, 6. So far, this is session number 7. Let's see how this pans out. Again, 100 spins with this one. Session high is 428. We are at the 30 spin mark. And remember, keep in mind, these are all different data sets. We're just trying to see how resilient this system is against different numbers. All right, session high is 451. Current profit is 41. We are at spin 50. All right, new session profit was at 59. We're at 63 spins. Again, this is session number 7 with VIPER 405. Okay, we're on a long losing streak right now. Really long. We're going to need a hit soon. We're at 85 spins. Got the hit, reset. All right, we're at spin 95. Okay, we're going to stop the test here. Okay, peaked out at 492. Remember, our starting bankroll is 405. Let's go down in the strategy managers. Let's see how much wins we got. Okay, we got a good number of wins. Well, not a good number, but we got 9 wins. out of 81 losses. Okay, so we're gonna log that. And again, I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna show you the new feature next. And then after I show you that new feature, I'm gonna go ahead and go over the stats at the end of the video, wrap this up, okay? Hey guys, so as promised, I'm going to show you a really cool feature that was implemented by the professor. This is called OCR. That's an acronym basically for optical character recognition. All that really means is this technology that converts images, typed, handwritten, or printed text into like machine encoded text. So let me just give you a demo. I do want to give you a little backstory real quick. So we were able to fairly easy collect real spin data by doing the traditional, click, drag, highlight, copy, and paste, and simply just adding that to the text file. Then we could run that data set on the software. Well, I don't know what happened. A lot of these online casinos changed something. I don't know if they're able to track that or just, I don't know what happened. So that was very difficult to do because they didn't let us do it anymore. So reach out to the professor and he came up with a cool little, I'll just jump right into it just to show you. So this is cool little feature that he implemented. Okay, so I'm going to show you over here. I'm going to highlight the area. So this is a traditional manual way to punch in numbers, right? So look up here. This is where the number sets go. So let's say if you're tracking casino data live and a 6 comes up, you come down here, punch in a 6, and it goes up here, 6. Next number, 11. Up here, 11, right? So I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. That's the manual way. So let's get into the OCR. So what this is going to do is I'm able to capture it. So I'm going to give you an example. So I'm not going to say the casino, but I got a snapshot over here, and I'm going to go, and you can see it's just a picture. It's a picture that was grabbed from an online casino. Okay. So you see the whole layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click right here, set. And then I'm going to go ahead and let's just do a drag. So I need to make sure all numbers, I can't cut off the numbers. I need them all in there. Okay, let's just do this whole row. Okay. And then once I go over here, I hit grab. It's going to load up the data and look right there. See right here? It's going to take it. So where I started was left to right. Okay. So that's how it's going to load up in here. So we got matching numbers 21, 21, 19, 28, 28. You could see they're all in order perfectly. 0, 5, 31, 24 at the end. See, they're loaded perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to show you some other cool stuff, right? See how powerful this is. Now I'm going to try to grab 2 rows. I could grab all of them, but it won't load up and show all of them in the screen. Okay, so I'm going to set again. I'm going to make sure all the numbers are not cut off. And this is just very similar to that snipping tool you'll find on on Windows. So I highlighted them. Next, I grab and check this out. Give it a second. It's going to load up. And boom. Okay, so you see over here, I started left to right again. And I went 2 rows. So look at same sequence up here. And then I grab those 2 rows. So at the end of the first row, you got 31, 24. And then when you look down here, the next row is 3. So it goes to 3, 12, 2, 18, just in sequential order. Okay. It's not going to show you all of them, but I'm showing you how cool it is. Now let me show you one more thing. So let me clear this out. I'm going to show you one more thing. Okay. So let's try it one more time instead. Now we're going to do vertical columns. We're going horizontally at first. Let's see if it can do vertical. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these. Vertical. I'm going to set it and then I'm going to grab it. It's going to load up and you can see we got 21, 3, 1, 17, 34, 6, and 24. I grab all in order. So wherever you start the drag, if you got to start left to right or top to bottom, and it's going to grab in order of those of the history. Okay, or you can do it in reverse, whatever order you want them in. But let me show you another cool thing. It's not just on pictures. Let me clear this out. Let me slide this over out of the way. And I'm going to bring this one in. This is just a text file. So like I said, back in a few months ago, we were able to just do this. We would go to the casino and then just drag, highlight, copy, and paste, save it to a, in this case, a text file. But since that's changed, right? So what I'm going to do is see if it works on this. So I'm going to go ahead and set, and then I'm going to start from the top, which is 24. I'm going to drag it down, and let's stop at 14. Now I hit grab, give it a minute to load up or a couple seconds, and you can see it's in order. We got 24, 13, 33, 20, 6, 34. See how cool that feature is? So now instead of manually collecting data or sitting there for hours and hours on end, you could easily just, like, this is the lazy way. Yeah, you can use this one down here and manually punch it in. That's going to take a long time. I know a lot of you guys have taken the time to collect the data, save the data, but this is a very cool way to go ahead. And even if you already previously have collected data, those of you that are going to be in the VIPER Nest inner circles, whatever data you previously collected against your casino, now you're able to not, you don't have to manually sit there for who knows how long to punch in those numbers. Instead, if you have it saved to a text file, go ahead and pull up that text file and do what I just showed you right here. But let me know what you guys think about this cool feature that the professor implemented. I thought it was a great time saver, made it very easy to collect real spin data. Okay, so with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, so all the data analysis, all the numbers are crunched. We're going to wrap up the video, but let's go over these numbers and see what happened with the system today. So we got all tests. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions. You can see right here, I did make that midway adjustment because technically this is a $405 bankroll. Now I know why I use $1,000 generic $1,000 as the bankroll, because it just makes crunching the numbers easier. So, but I did, put a little bit more work on myself. No worries, no big deal. I got everything crunched. So let's look at this first line. First test, we got a profit of 96. Let's just go through them. Second test, match that. This is where it ended at 100 spins. Okay, so I don't know how relevant this really is because nobody really is going to stop at exactly 100 spins. But we are going to look at this number right here. This one's something new that I implemented. This is going to be ROI, and this is based on total amount wagered. How much did you risk to how much did you gain? Okay, so how I calculated this. So if you slide over here, we got the 9 out of 81 spins, right? And then so we're looking at the total amount wagered. So our session low, right? We wagered, we risked $82 of our bankroll to gain a session high, to gain $101. So that's a 17% ROI. That's where I'm getting that number from. So then you look at the next one, it's 60%. This one right here, the third session, looks super high. And the reason why it looks super high is because if you go over here, so we actually capped at the highest as far as profit goes. We capped at $121 of profit within 100 spins, but we only used $10 of our bankroll. Super good start, super, maybe some lucky numbers. So that's kind of like a little, that's what I call an outlier, right? So our two outliers went back to back. So we got a super high percentage right there, and we got a minus, the other outlier is minus 45. So that is something to keep in mind. And then if you go down, you could see, so the average right here on the profits, I got all 7 sessions, okay? All 7 sessions, we got $86 as the profit loss average. Then we got the total amount wagered. The average percentage came out between all 7 sessions is 186. And then I didn't calculate this end balance. It's kind of irrelevant because nobody stops really at 100 spins. But then you got the session high. So the session high average is 102 point. It's a $102 average as far as where it peaked out. Session low. This is also one of my favorite stats to keep track of. On average, between all 7 sessions, we only used, on average, $82.50 of our bankroll. And I think that's pretty good. even though it's a longer progression and you do have that bankroll, nobody really wants to use that bankroll because it can be, and it can be stressful to use. So that wraps up the video for today. You can see right here before I close it out, this is our win. So most of the wins to losses. So the win is, like in this case, it's 9 to 81 losses. Next is 12 to 78 losses, 14 wins, 76 losses. So it is heavily in balance as far as wins, but you can see the way that this strategy is built is to win and then reset you at any win point. Okay, so that's going to wrap up for today's video. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I can also run another video with this same strategy and see if maybe adding more corners will be better, because they will basically essentially going to run different progressions all separately. So like again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Until next time, guys, be cool, stay cool, peace.